somebody who you give everybody the rules. These are the rules. Okay? If somebody hits you, you go tell the teacher. Okay? When you tell a kid that, you are telling him, okay, you go tell the teacher, and the teacher is going to do something about it. But all too often, the teacher does not. You wind up in the office with the assistant principal, counselor, or whatever the designee is. You have whatever teaspoon of discussion that you're having. And then that person says, well, you apologize. And then, okay, you apologize. That does absolutely nothing.
No,
it does nothing. You have to, and another thing too, when one kid, and you know the kid who is creating the disruption in class or on the playground, and you punish the entire class.
Right.
You're not doing anything.
Nope.
You have to make an example of the person, of the person who is causing the problem. That has got to change, and the only way that is going to change is to get on these folks who you have selected to be on the Board of Education and start bombarding their offices. Now, and I can only speak for the state of Maryland, but I know every school district all throughout the country has a Board of Education. But here's who you start needing to call in Prince George's County, because this has got to stop. This bullying, infighting with the kids in the school, because the adults aren't doing anything. And the major often said the problem with today's children are today's adults.
Right.
That's a problem.
We always the problem.
So adults, get your pen and paper handy, because you can go to pgcps.org and call up your Board of Education. But I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to give you the phone number, which is 301-952-6115. Now, you have folks who are appointed to the board, but I'm going to give you these folks who were elected. Okay, the chair, well, I guess she was appointed. I don't know if she was appointed or elected, but that's Dr. Juanita Miller. We need to get in these folks' asses, because you don't send, a lot of folks teach their kids the right thing at home, but if you got this one troublemaker who knows that all he's going to do, he or she, is going to do is get called in the office and made to apologize and sent back into class, you're still creating a problem. You're putting too much work on the teacher to rectify a problem that if you just handled it differently, it would probably be rectified. I know when I was working in the district at the charter school, what we did, and the difference between charter schools, they could kind of set up their own rules, if you will. But if your kid screwed up on time number 3, they're calling you at your job, and they putting that kid out of the school.
Right.
We had very few problems when the consequence starts hitting you in the pocketbook. These are the kinds of policies I would like to see instituted in schools nationwide, because again, when you start hitting people in the pocketbook, they start paying attention.
Right.
So again, your board chair is Juanita Miller. For District 1 in Prince George's County, David Murray. The number again is 301-952-6115. District 2 is Joshua Thomas. And again, these people have emails and direct dial numbers at that PGCPS website. So get it and start burning it up. District number 3 is Pam Boozer Strother. District number 4, my school district, Shayla Adams Stafford. And I sent her a copy of that discussion.
Okay.
Because she's a friend of my page. And I'm ever so prayerful that she will listen up, because she too said she's agreeable to coming on the show, but she needs the Zoom link. She wants a Zoom link. Because I still don't know what their job description is for board members.
Yeah.
Still don't know.
Me either.
Yep.
And You know, that's very important right now, people, because especially if you have children in school,
Mm-hmm.
especially in Prince George's County School,
Mm-hmm.
you need to know the significance. What is their title? If they don't have no title that is doing anything, then it shouldn't be there. That's money wasted.
Yeah, it's money
For
wasted.
real. It
Absolutely.
really
We
is.
here.
Yeah. It's
And
money wasted.
as an aside, property owners in Prince George's County, people who own houses, who own apartment buildings and that kind of thing, these are the folks. Their tax dollars is what's carrying this county.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got a house, if you paying a mortgage, you better speak up. Because whether you have chit nor child in a public school out here, that kid, if you have a school within a mile radius of your neighborhood, it's an impact.
Right.
You need to speak up and speak out. Okay, district number 5 is Rahida Ahmed. That's where Northview Elementary School is. It's in her district, District 5. District number 6, Belinda Queen. District 7 is Kenneth Harris. Now, they did not have any a District 8 there. I'm wondering if some of these other folks who are, appointed, or a chair is, at that level or represents that district. I don't know, but I did not see one for number 8. Mm-hmm. But number 9 is Sonia Williams. She is the vice chair of the Board of Education. Now, we have appointed members to the board as well. Right. They can be reachable through that number. They too have emails at that site. The appointed members of the board are Judy Murray, Paul Montero, who had at one point run for county executive, and Curtis Valentine. We have got to start making noise, people, because as BLAQ says always, we got to be a part of the change we want to see.
Yeah.
And I, for one, know parents who are teaching their children the right thing. But then they go to school, they run into a knucklehead whose parent is not teaching them at all. And then they have to, what do you tell them? We tell them to obey the rules and, do the right thing, and that'll get you ahead. But that, no kid should have to go to school and be worried about getting punched out because somebody wants their jacket or the coat or whatever it is they might want. We have got to begin in school systems, starting here at home, to show these children that there are consequences to your action. And it's better to have the consequence at a young age, because when they get older, Popo is not going to have no mercy on them. They're not. You see it every single day. Black Lives Matter starts at your house. You have got to start teaching your children self-respect, to respect themselves. Mm-hmm. And when they respect themselves, they have a tendency to respect other folks. So you got to teach them mutual respect as well.
Right.
When they leave your domain, they're going to have authorities that they're going to have to respect. Mm-hmm. So you got to teach them respect for authorities. So they got to respect you first. You're the authority in that house. And when they get in the habit of doing that, it'll carry over to the outside. And you got to teach them discipline. We don't send our children to school to get beat up, picked on, and that kind of thing. A big part of it, I think, is a social. It's social, so they can associate with people, within their own peer group. But we have to be comfortable. Now, the school system set out all kinds of rules, and the student code of conduct is online.
Right.
There are, schools will tell you, if somebody hits you, don't hit them back. Go tell the teacher. But that's not normal. Mm-hmm. That is not normal.
It's really not.
So we've got to start teaching the children at home to not to do certain things and that kind of thing. But here's what I learned yesterday, that my 12-year-old grandson, because he read the book, there's nothing in that book that says your kid can't defend themselves. Mm-hmm. But teachers will make you feel that if your kid defends him or herself at school, that they're in the wrong. We have got to change that, people. We absolutely positively have to change that. So I know
Finish talking. Go ahead. Finish talking.
Well, no, I'm just kind of looking at the school system and the student code of conduct, because they pass it out to every kid every year. But if you don't take the time to go over that information with those children, especially at the elementary level, you're not doing anything. You have to make them understand, these are the rules. You have to show them, okay, when one of your peers does not adhere to or obey the rules, I will do something about it. I, the teacher, or I, the administrator, will make sure that this person who is violating the rules, and you are doing everything I asked you to do, but this other person is violating the rules, I'm going to support you. I'm going to do something about it. But that is not happening in school systems nationwide. I think about, kids, and I'm, going to D.C. now. Kids getting stabbed going to school and that kind of thing. That stuff should not happen. And I firmly believe that it would not happen, or the likelihood of it happening would be significantly diminished if A, we went over the rules with the children, ensuring that they understand. And this is no more than, I did as an HR person every quarter. We will be doing something to make things clear to the employees. And in schools, we could do that every quarter to those students, helping them understand, the importance of discipline and decorum in the building. If we, and too many teachers, I only know of one teacher who is doing that. But they're not doing it because we're not making them do it. We're not making them do it because we're not calling and we're not emailing. And granted, in this day and time, in the time of COVID, I know a lot of these elected officials, or excuse me, I don't know, I firmly believe that a lot of these elected officials are using COVID as an excuse. But you can't, as an excuse not to meet you face to face. But they can't avoid the email and they can't avoid the telephone. And you have to be consistent with your calling, and you have to be persistent, because we are losing too many children to violence in the schools. Mm-hmm. And I'm just talking about D.C. and Maryland right now. I'm not even going outside of the DMV. But we're losing these kids because we put up a whole set of rules there. We tell them, here are the rules, and we don't talk about them with the children. That's number one.
I have a comment.
Okay.
And someone asks, do you think that parents rely too much on the schools raising their children?
Absolutely they do.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely they do. Mm-hmm. And then when and I think that's part of the problem as well. We send our kids to school to be babysat.
Right.
That's what we're doing, because I know I've seen when Joaquin was doing the homeschool thing, mm-hmm. you could actually see the background
right
in people's houses, and you had people walking around smoking cigarettes, having dialogue in the background, and the kids in class. All I believe folks want is the babysitter and the paycheck. And if you don't do it if you hurt my kids' feelings, then I'm going to have a problem. Newsflash. life is going to hurt your baby's feelings. And what you going to do when he gets, to the age of majority, 18, 21, 25? You going to still be fighting folks in the street? Or going cussing people out because they hurt your kids' feelings? Life, you all are setting your kids up for false reality. Not a false reality, because reality is real. You're setting your kids up for failure, because the only person who thinks you are a special kid is your mama and your daddy. Everybody else, you ain't special. So we've got to teach folks what to do, our children, what to do when they get in certain settings. We've got to do that.
Okay, you can call that number in.
So we've got a guest about to call in. But guys, I'm telling you, when we do our elected officials, the biggest thing is we got to get these folks on our page as it relates to education and as it relates to decorum within the school building, because guess who's paying for that? You are. And I'm telling you, if you go to Macy's or somewhere, you buy something, you don't like it, you're able to take it back and get your money back. Mm-hmm. Okay? We have to treat the school system the same way. An analogy. My time's up right now.
Hold on for 1 second, Jontae, okay?
No, let them go ahead.
No, we're going to get it. We got to introduce him and everything first. Okay, hold on 1 second, okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, now go ahead and finish up.
Okay. Well, now
Turn your background stuff off.
No, but you have to look at everything in your life, like the vending machine. When you go to that vending machine and put your dollar in and punch whatever buttons for your M&Ms or whatever you punching it for, and it doesn't come out, you kick it, you bang it, you doing all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Until what you wanted falls down. That's how we have got to treat our schools and our communities.
Right.
If we see it's wrong, we've got to fight to make it right. Just like we would do that vending machine. So with that, I'm going to turn the mic over to you.
So, you have any numbers or anything that people can use to? Can you hear?
No, yeah, this is off.
I hear you.
You hear me?
Uh-huh.
Well, okay. As long as you can hear me, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any numbers? Like, is it anybody that they need to call?
Absolutely. Again, as I say, every email address and direct dial telephone number is on that website for the Board of Education. It's right under their name. But right now, this minute, take this number down. It's 301-952-6115. That should put you in touch with the Board of Education's. I guess that's the secretary.
Okay.
Because when I call, I go and get the direct dial number, and if nobody picks that up, because you generally get Silicon Sally, send the email, but make the call anyway. Leave a message when you can, and send the email. All of y'all have that capability. If you do that every day, 5 days a week, consistently, some change is going to happen. Okay. Also, a question that I've been trying to ask Shayla Adams Stafford. I'm asking for a job description. Ain't got a response for that yet. I do get a response from her. Yeah, I can come on the show, or can we talk whatever day, but we haven't.
Well, she can't give us her job description. She's not coming in here. I'm sorry. Okay. She ain't coming in here.
All right.
Just for some free publicity. If she can't give us her job description and all of that, she will not be sitting in one of these seats or on the Zoom or none of that.
Okay, well, that's what that means. Paul Montero sent me something. He's the only one. Mm-hmm. He's the only one. But we should have some input and some say-so. Okay. Now, we may not know how to go in front of a classroom and impart information, but we can certainly get the 101 stuff, the discipline piece, how you're supposed to act in certain situations. We can get that message across and demand that a change be made.
That's right. So y'all make them necessary phone calls for any parent who have children in Prince George's County Public Schools. We're going to take a quick break, like 2 seconds, and we will be back with our Stop the Violence segment with the father of JASLYN Adams, who lost her life to gun violence in Chicago, April of last year. Y'all, I'm telling y'all have y'all kids. Y'all got these apps down low. Y'all have y'all kids sitting right in front. Your teenagers, they need to be sitting right next to you all. All of the 9,000 people that tune in from the app right now, have your children sitting right next to y'all right now, because we got something that you need to hear. We'll be back in a few seconds.
Hold tight. I can go out.
All right, y'all, we are back. We're at the Stop the Violence segment of Community Love in Black Rose Garden. And I have a very special guest on the phone. And I want to just refreshing y'all memories on this case. I know I had posted about it a lot. I did a live video expressing how I felt about the situation and, what her dad was going through, the persecution and everything that her dad was going through. I had to get myself together to, be able to invite this man on the show. Okay, but I want to refresh y'all memories. 7-year-old JASLYN Adams shot and killed after a car she was in was shot up while in a drive-thru at the McDonald's restaurant in the 3200 block of West Roosevelt, North Lawndale neighborhood, West Side, Chicago. Her dad was critically wounded and taken into surgery. Y'all, when I read that, my heart dropped. It was like playing out. You know how I go and I'm just I don't stroll down Facebook all the time. But it was this particular day that I did, and someone had sent me the video, sent me the story and everything, and my heart stopped. It actually skipped a beat. I cried for months because we done lost it, y'all. Okay? We have really lost sight. I don't know if y'all, we got this gang stuff going on, and I have this young man on the phone because I want him to explain some things to y'all. He wasn't even in a gang, okay? That's first of all. He was affiliated, okay? We're going to clear that up. And like I told y'all before, I like to get the story from the source. I'm not, I don't go on YouTube and go and get all of that information from there and put it out there, because if you don't hear it from the source, it means nothing.
Right.
Okay? So on the line, I have Mr. Jontae Adams, father of JASLYN Adams. Thank you so much, Mr. Adams, for tuning in, for even calling in today. How are you doing? Hello? Mr. Adams?
He was here a minute ago.
Mr. Adams. Amen. Mr. Adams.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you
Yeah.
now. I would
I'm
like
sorry, the phone's having technical difficulties.
no problem, no problem at all. I thought it was us over here. But how are you doing today? And I just want you to
Uh,
um
I'm doing okay. It's kind of echoing. Like,
maybe it's
is it echoing on your end?
yeah, I think you probably need to turn the background music off. Let me see. Anything, the noise in the background, because this thing picks up everything. Is that better? Let me
I
see.
still, it's still kind of echoing, but can you hear me?
Yeah, I
We can
can
hear
hear you
you.
loud and clear.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm doing okay. I'm doing much better. Like I said, I appreciate you for even having me on the show. Give me the opportunity to even speak out.
I want you to introduce yourself, and I know that you're still dealing because I tell people all the time that families, parents, people think that it's some type of time frame or time limit that you have to grieve. And I tell people all the time that there's no time limit. I have families, I have moms who have, and dads who have lost their children 15, 20 years ago, and they are still grieving. You know what I'm saying? But I want you to talk to the
Yeah.
people, and I want you to, because this is very important. It was a lot of like misinformation put out there, about the situation. And like I said, that was tragic to me. I'm in the DMV area, and I'm telling you, that broke my heart to hear about that baby and your situation. Let's talk about, if you can, if you feel up to it, let's talk about that day and where you're at right now. What are you dealing with? you know um a message for our youth, because I know that you have seen the issues that's going on. Chicago closed out last year with over 1,000 people murdered. Okay,
Yeah.
last year. And I just want you to, just tell your story.
Oh well, my name is Jontae Adams. I'm JASLYN Adams' father. April 18th of last year, I was going to take my daughter to get some McDonald's from the west side on the west side of Chicago when my car was shot up. Um, a lot of social media and stuff had bashed me like real bad. Really, like to be honest, like I have received a lot of criticism from like I don't want to say like Caucasian people, but when you get bashed from your own kind in those type of situations, it's a
Mm-hmm.
different type of hurt and it's like a different type of letdown. So like so I had got a lot of criticism, a lot of hatred, a lot of blame. You know what I'm saying for that what happened to my daughter. And I took accountability. I'm
Right.
still taking accountability. Like no one knows what I go through on a daily basis, but I take full accountability because at the end of the day, I know what I was involved in. That does lead to those type of things. But to kick a person while they down, like, there's no good in that. Like,
No, it's
so I
not.
received a lot of criticism and things like that. Like, good, I'm not weak minded. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
people don't know it's people that's out here that's dealing with mental health issues for real and suicidal thoughts for real. Like, social media
Mm-hmm.
plays a part in that. So
Something just happened.
Yeah, I think his call drops.
Hmm.
Mr. Adams. Let's see.
We're having a technical
We're
difficulty
having
or
a
two.
little technical difficulty, y'all. We sorry. Let me see. Let me hang up and get him to call back in.
Hmm.
We gonna give him a few minutes, and we're going to have him to call back in. But like I was saying, with that case, we got you back.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's my phone or what,
Yeah, I can
but
hear like a
uh,
little echoing in your background, but we're completely quiet in here, and we ain't gonna let the devil come in between getting this conversation had and getting getting this information out here. So as many times as we has to call back and do this until we get it done, we're going to get it done.
Right.
Okay. I have
I
all the time in the
appreciate it.
world. Okay. So continue with what you were saying, sir.
Yeah, like I was saying, I have received a lot of backlash, hatred, criticism, and things like that. But and where I'm at right now, mentally, I was taking mental therapy right after it. I've always been a God-fearing person, so
Mm-hmm.
like I kind of understood what was at hand the moment it happened more than others because like a lot of people have been in my shoes. I've been shot 10 times. I've been to the penitentiary 3 times. Like I've been in situations where there's no one else to pray to but God, and only God can get me out of those situations.
That's
And even
right.
to this day, He walked like getting me through it. Like so, a lot of people not gonna understand. They never will understand because it's not them. And I pray no one has to go through what I had to go through to wake up and to understand, what we should be doing, and how we should be living, who we should be living for, like things like that. So, but like yeah, right now I'm taking mental therapy. I'm doing podcasts. Like I just left Steve Harvey. I had a
Yes,
few
I
other big
watched that.
podcasts and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. So yeah, it's like I'm trying to make it better situation a sweet one.
Where are you at right now, and what can we do as a community to help you get into a better place? Like, I know that this can't be easy. I know that you see the situations that's going on all over the country. Gun violence is on an all-time high, and since 2015 there have been 91,650 people who have lost their life to gun violence. Just those 91,000 people, 88,000 of those people are black people, and the cases are unsolved. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, like believe it or not, before my daughter passed, I didn't. I had no stance on that. Honestly, I had
Mhm.
no stance on that because of how I was living and what I indulged in, and
Good
those
God.
numbers that you just did, like gang banging and affiliating yourself with gang bang, has a lot to do with those numbers. Like, so
Mhm.
I never really stood on that, but right now I stand on that because I see that it's all a system, and like what I'm saying, like how I live condone to the system. My daughter fell victim to the system. Yes, I have a choice. Like I have my own choices, but at the end of the day, America was built on systematic racism and like things like that. Like so, I played into that system. So those numbers are like 1,000 last year alone shook me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
everything hits me different now that I lost my daughter. It's like
Mhm.
I really see the way that I was living wasn't that way. So like black on black like is a real thing. Like that's an issue. Like self hate is a real issue. Like these things that's going on in the community.
Here we go again.
That's okay.
Hmm.
That's okay. Man, it's gonna close out, and
Try it
we'll
again.
get them back in again. Y'all, we'll be back. Let me see if I can call him. Okay. Hello. Hello.
He's got static.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but
Yeah.
it must be the devil for real.
Yeah, it
But
is. But we gonna get this done. So it's okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. So, but like I was saying, you have to have people from those communities like that know what's really going on in those communities that can actually sit down with groups of guys and like what I'm saying, actually talk to them. And you actually have to have police that want to serve and protect and sit on the blocks that's like the gun rates and the crime rate high. You police to like just sit right there on those blocks and like when the weather breaks and stuff, get the kids back outside. Don't keep them shacked up in no like YMCA's and youth centers are cool, but like when I was a child, I had imagination. I played basketball in alleys on crate rims. We did everything. We made go karts
Mhm.
out of trash can tires and built clubhouses and stuff like that outside. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
a lot of the violence went unnoticed when I was growing up. I'm 30. I was born in '92. like a lot of stuff wasn't right in my face how it is with these kids right now. Everything's right in their face, so they not getting a chance to imagine, and they not getting a chance to actually be kids. You know
Do
what I'm
you
saying? So
think, do you, not to cut you off, but do you think that social media plays a big part of that?
yeah, because even in the Bible, God says don't worship idols. Like everybody has somebody that they look up to. Like in all of the rappers on social media, the basketball players on social media, like you know what I'm saying. So everybody that you
Mm-hmm.
can possibly idolize is on social media, and like I believe that like hip hop rap alone plays a music. I mean plays a major part in gang violence.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
I'm 30. Okay, let me just give you an example. When Lil Wayne started wearing skinny jeans, everybody started wearing skinny jeans. That's not a
Yeah,
balanced act, but it just shows you how influential hip hop is.
exactly. Exactly. And the key players of hip hop, you know. I have been following, I've been an advocate for the murder cases for over almost 30 years. I started following the Chicago homicide watch. Okay, we also had one here in the DMV area. We had a DC homicide watch, but I had connected with some of the families, and to hear someone tell me that we live in a neighborhood where we can't even have our children outside to ride a goddamn bike, that broke my
Mm.
heart. That broke my heart. To talk to a mom who basically she knew that her son, she was going to lose her child no matter what her situation was. This child came from a two family household. A two parent household. These people had great jobs. This was a great little boy that was, evolving in school. He was becoming just a great person. He was a great athlete. He was great in grades and stuff. But to hear this mom tell me that she basically was preparing herself for the death of her child, that broke me down. That broke me
Mm.
down. Being a parent, living in Chicago, talk to these people and tell them what it's like, because a lot of times, like like I said, I've been following this for a very long time. I know that a lot of the apartment complexes, public housing and things, just like here, because it's the same damn thing going on here, John Tate, for to be honest with
Everywhere.
you. It's going on everywhere. But to have the apartment complexes, your public housing and everything, the buildings knocked down. Explain to people what that did, because I tell people all the time that they went and knocked those apartment complexes down, and it just made
It displaced
people
folks and gave them
who,
no hope.
it just, no, not only that, it moved all these people together, blocks over, and caused these beefs because they had beefs before. Explain to people, because, like I said, I don't live there, I read about it, but to actually have someone from Chicago to actually talk to that can make me understand what's going on. Like, explain to these people exactly what that did. I do it again.
Okay, let me take this off.
Yeah, he'll be calling in again. Let me see if I can. Hello.
Yeah, I
Yeah, no
apologize.
problem. Don't keep
Could you
apologizing. Though, what I was saying was, I know that I was trying. I talk to the people all the time, and I know that displacement of black people has caused a lot of drama, because you had apartment complexes where people lived, and once they knocked that down, it made
oh
people
yeah.
kind of like migrate. Like, explain to people what that really did, Jontae.
Oh yeah, it definitely like segregated people. A lot of people didn't really get to grow up with their family members. Cause at first, a lot of those people who's like in those projects, and I'm not even from the projects, but I have people from who lived out south, like from the village, who from the Hornets and things like that. So yeah, like so when they tore down buildings, a lot of people didn't really get to come up with they real family members. A lot of people had to like migrate to other people's like neighborhoods and grow up with other people's like
Mhm.
families and make those people's family. And because of like friction between certain blocks and stuff like that, like so it's definitely like it definitely caused like damage in community things like that because certain stuff like projects in those buildings was all black people kind of had like. But like
Mhm.
where I'm from, a lot of people. I'm from West Humboldt Park. Like we didn't really
Okay.
have no projects. Like a lot of where I'm from, a lot of our grandparents and things like that own houses. You know what I'm saying? Like my the building my mom stays in now, my auntie once owned before they lost it and things like that. So
Right. Right.
I know I kind of come from where people. My granddad owned house. Like I kind of come from like not owning property, but my community wasn't as far as like a project. You know,
Mhm.
like I'm probably like 5 minutes away from downtown with a straight train shot. So like the community I'm from and stuff like that is it's definitely still like the minority is more of like a Hispanic and a black community.
Mhm.
But like
Yes.
Chicago is definitely segregated by like bylaws and stuff. You'll go to certain places it'll be all Mexicans. Then you go to now everything like anything that's a minority is black and Hispanics. Like same thing that field of prison,
Yeah.
black and
Yeah.
Hispanics.
That's
So
where a lot of the crimes are going on, and it happens here too. We have police, that can be sitting right there on the block, right? And we have these fancy smancy ass bullet detectors and all of this bullshit. But when somebody gets murdered, it be people actually getting murdered right while the police is sitting there. Okay, right there on the
yeah,
block. It doesn't stop nothing. And I think that gentrifying is basically it started to push us out and put us in these bad situations where we hate each other, we letting these beefs and stuff, like we if we understood the real enemy in this thing, we wouldn't be out here killing each other. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't be out
I,
here killing each other. What is okay? I know a lot of the older gang like leaders are locked up in prison right now. Do you think that that has set the pace for how these young people are acting right now, where they just don't give a damn?
yeah,
Mm-mm-mm. This thing want to keep on playing with me, but that's all right. It's all right, y'all. Y'all just bear with me because it's trying to play with us, but we're going to get this out because I feel like this is needed, y'all. Like y'all don't know what this young man has been through, and we have all of these children. We have all of these children that want to be a part
we
of this. They want to be a part of this mess, and they don't even understand the toll of the situation.
They
You
don't
know what I'm
understand the
saying?
consequences.
They don't understand the consequences. They don't understand. So, like I was saying, do you think that the gang members being locked up and just losing their foundation, losing the way of doing things? Because we had a street code back in the day: no women, no children.
mhm.
And that has not been the case here lately. Even in the streets of the DMV, it has not been the case. We have lost children in the mix of this stuff. And they don't even call it gang banging no more. They call it block banging, basically.
Yeah.
Is there some truth to that?
I
Like,
I learned one thing I learned about like gang banging has like laws like and like a vice lord laws is basically a Muslim's law.
mm-hmm.
Like it kind of like so when you talking about like structure, I know they don't want us to like knowledge each other. Like gang banging wasn't labeled gang banging. Like gang banging was put together in communities to actually protect and serve their own communities against like white supremacists and stuff like that. Like so gang banging never was that until they took the people with the knowledge off the streets. Like I was saying, the same way they did a Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. When Malcolm X went and discovered white Muslims, that's when he became a target. When he found that he was getting lashed by Elijah Muhammad, I believe that's when became a target once he realized that the system, like, is bigger than what you think you're fighting for. Like, and once you take people who can
Yeah.
knowledge, enlighten other black people specifically about the real war that's going on, to, like they say, you kill the head, the body fall. Like, so yeah, like taking gang cheese off the street because you couldn't do anything with gang cheese was on the street. Like, it was stuff you like. If you just go shoot up a block just because you want to, that's considered an unauthorized move, and you'll get in trouble by your gang.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you
Mm-hmm.
take those type of guys off the street, and everybody just like chickens with their head cut off.
What do you think that the rap, because I mean, I can't just say it's a Chicago thing where a lot of these families are losing. I mean, a lot of these rappers are losing their lives. It's not just a Chicago thing. It's a DC thing. It's a California thing. It's this stuff is spreading all over the world when it comes to this type of thing. Do you think that the rap, well, y'all have drill music down there. Do you think that set the pace and just changed things and changed people's way of thinking and just brought all of this craziness on that's going on in Chicago right now, Jontae?
Yes. I mean, like I said, you got to think about how hip hop. I believe hip hop and comedy is like the two like most dangerous professions you probably could get in because
Mm-hmm.
of like the you know what I'm saying, the following and the things you saying and stuff like that. Like once you create a following, you become like a target. Like I believe, like this is just my opinion. Like in hip
Yeah.
hop, like I say, you got to think once certain rappers start wearing skinny jeans, everybody start wearing skinny jeans. A
Mm-hmm.
rapper bad as hell gold, everybody down their hair gold. A rapper buy Rolex, everybody buying Rolexes. So
Yeah.
hip hop is that influential. Like it's very
And I
influential. Now, I
remember
know
back
because
in the
I've
day,
been influenced by it.
yeah, I'm older. Okay, I'm old. You 30, I'm 51, but I remember back in the day, they used to do a beef, like a beef rap,
Battle.
and a like a battle, and they would get on the floor, they would do their little thing, and that would be the end of it. That shit would not, roll over to the point where people are actually losing their lives. People are being disrespectful where they're just pulling people out of graves and all types of stuff. They trying to do it to us again, but it's okay.
Maybe moving around.
Yeah, I was thinking about. We're back. The next time that it clicks off, you can
But
call.
I
Go ahead.
believe like after Tupac died with hip hop, I believe controversy started really selling. Like beefing
Yes.
started really selling. Like so
Mm-hmm.
now you starting to talk about like people faking beefs, people faking shootings, and people pulling all type of stunts for album sales. And a lot of people said Tupac sold out once he went and condoned into the Biggie and the East Coast West Coast thing.
Right.
But like that move right there, kind of like from Tupac, made it cool to kind of like because he had this record that was the number one record on the chart. Hit 'Em Up was the number one record. There was
Mm-hmm.
also a diss record that led to people dying and getting shot. Like you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely influential because it's the same thing going on today till this day, but it's just worse now because it's more. It was never this many guns on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Like guns is on the street at a high rate. Like they ain't no gun
How
stores
you
getting
think
broken
they
into.
getting it?
So it's
How
like
you think they getting there? Because I had an issue where I had talked to a couple of brothers from Chicago, and they said basically like people was just coming and dropping crates of guns in the middle of they damn streets and all of that. Is there some truth to that? Why do you think that there are more guns and people are not buying them from the gun stores and stuff and all of that type of stuff, and they not breaking them, actually breaking into these places and stealing these guns and evidence lockup places and all of that stuff? Why you think that there is a
Is there any truth?
significant?
Is there any truth to the guns being dropped in the community?
Is there any truth to it?
um honestly, like a lot of people will believe like it's a conspiracy theory because to me, I've heard that. I've been hearing that for years. Like I done heard that in prison. I done heard it, but at the end of the day, the same way you can read 1,000 murders, or you can read 80,000 murders, 90,000 murders, or you can Google like it's too many guns on the street. There's no gun stores getting broken in. Nobody's purchasing guns at the rate that they're on the street. Even with a gun card, nobody's purchasing them at the rate that they're on the street. So you got to. It has to be something else. I mean,
it has to be some truth to that.
Police put drugs back on the street. Other tactics.
Mm.
So
can you repeat that?
To me, nobody. He
said that the police put drugs back on the street as a tactics. Explain that to us, Jontae.
Okay, have you ever seen Blue Streak with Martin Lawrence?
Yes.
When he was trying to get the diamond, and then they found the diamond fell in the keys of coke.
Right.
And he like, no, why don't we just put them back out there for bait and try to catch? You know what I'm saying? It's always the truth to a movie or things like that. So I feel like it can't happen. And like, we come from Chicago, being incarcerated. I've been in situations where the police asked me for guns, like asked my brothers for guns, and they let us walk. You know what I'm saying? Just like, you know what I'm saying? So you'll never know. You can't put nothing past the government, like not even the police.
Right.
Especially not the police.
Because I think everybody has the same issue with the police all over the damn country.
Well, I just happen to know some police who have done some real crooked stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the police take an oath. Like, when you get in the gang, you take an oath. Like, oaths are real. Like, you know, so people got to...
People... He's gone again?
Yeah, it's okay. Close out and let him call back in. I was going to have him call my phone. But it's not this phone. It's just... He's calling.
I think it's something where he is.
Hello?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it was like I was saying, like, people oath to protect and, you know, do right by theirs. And like, I believe that's just like what the police do. They protect their eyes. We can see with all the cop shootings and the hidden footage from police brutality and things like that of that nature. So you have to really understand what type of police, like what type of organization they really are behind the scenes. Like,
yeah, I noticed.
I say all cops because it's good cops, but
yeah,
it's definitely bad cops.
When you look at LAPD, and the Rodney King situation, and even the Biggie and the Tupac situation, it was LAPD that was involved in Biggie's murder.
Yeah,
they were involved in it, and they have a way. I mean, when it comes to the fact that we had law enforcement people that were on law enforcement working for Suge Knight and his whole criminal organization. You already know, like they say that LAPD is like the most corrupt law enforcement agency in the damn world, not the country, the damn world. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at when you look at their background and all of the stuff that they have done, you can understand, because they really are corrupt. We do have situations where, because that whole situation with the Biggie killing, it was a lot of police that was involved in that actually worked for LAPD.
Working for P. Diddy.
Yeah, working. Yeah, it was a mess, and oh my God, it's we can talk for hours. Like I want to give you a spat on this show because I want to target in, because this is important for our children to understand. Only he can explain this to them.
Right.
In a way where they will understand. Yeah, because he done been on both sides of it. Only he can explain that shit to them. For real. And I want to make this like a every week segment where we're talking about these things, and maybe it can help you get into a mind frame where you can get out here, because you have a job to do. Like I told you on the phone earlier, you have a job to do, sir.
I already know.
You know that?
I've been hearing this, like, everybody that talks to me on another note tell me, like, you can do this, or like you can make a change, or you could be the reason for this in Chicago, and like that's all I really been doing, like is trying to preach positivity, get on podcasts, get on radios and stuff like
Awesome.
that. Not for no,
That's
not for
awesome.
attention, but because I feel like that's my only way to repay my baby back. Like is
You
to
got a
help other
ministry.
kids and to
You got
try
a
to make a
job.
change in
Yeah,
community.
you
Like
do. You
because
have a
I know how influential
ministry.
Chicago is, and like the drill culture, quote unquote. Like I know how influential that is to other places, and like me come from there, like, and like it's nothing. You get you gang nothing out of gang culture. Like you know what I'm saying. Like you only gonna lose. Like you know what I'm saying. You going what you think is winning in the beginning. You best believe it's gonna come with a price to pay, like an
Good
ultimate price.
God.
Like so.
You better speak. I want you to speak to these young people right now, and I want you to speak to the people who have their children, have this app downloaded, and they have their children sitting down right now listening to
Listening.
you. I want you to speak to them right now, Jontae, and tell them what it really is. And I'm gonna leave you the floor to do that.
Again.
We're gonna be closing out of this after he finished, so it's gonna be all right, you know. Like I said, I've been waiting for this opportunity to have this young man on the show just to speak to we're back. Like I said, I'm gonna give you the floor, and I want you to speak to our youth right now, and I want you to talk to them and tell them. I want you to have a conversation with our youth right now, with these people who are, thinking about becoming a part of the gang, who are being forced to be in the gang. You know what I'm saying? I want you to talk to them people right now.
And I do have a question when he's done.
Okay.
Okay. Um. So if you got any intentions on joining the gang, it definitely ain't worth it. Especially like if you have children. Like me, actually affiliating myself with gangs, having the experience, and like taking all the losses and stuff that come with it. It's not worth it because even like before gunshots and before the loss of my child, even when I was going to prison, like I had nobody to reach out to but the same people, my mother, my girlfriend, and my sister.
Good
Like I never
God.
got no money received from gang. I never received a letter from the gang members, let alone no money or no money on the phone to talk to any gang member. So them type of situations would let you know why it's worth it. Like and if you get far up into the part you're losing homies and you're going to funerals and things like that, you have to really start thinking like about what matters and like who's really there. Like if you were to die, who like you gone, but you still leaving the mother to grieve, you still leaving a sister, still leaving the auntie, or grandmother, people to hurt and mourn over you. And like you have to really sit back and understand that every decision you make don't just affect you; it affects everyone around you. The least people you like. I'm a witness to that. I'm speaking from experience. Like decisions I have made, things I have said, people I associated myself with, all came back. Like despite me trying to change and everything, because I was walking for a straight path for at least a year, but you're not gonna turn yourself over to God without giving Him something. So if you call yourself indulging in any type of gang activity, just know that it might not even hurt you. It might hurt someone around you. Like
Good
I had to lose my
God.
daughter for me to understand this. Like I said, I never indulged in Black Lives Matter, none of these things until I lost my daughter because I'm really done living that way. And now I really understand and like the message that I have to put out there. I'm full fledged for getting all the young men, all the young fathers, especially young Black fathers, to really understand the fight that we fight. It's not a black or white thing. It's a spiritual thing. You know what I'm saying? So these people don't want us to acknowledge each other. They don't want us to enlighten each other. They want us to stay dumb. They want us to stay, you know what I'm saying? They want us to forget about history. You know what I'm saying? Like I just want to put back out there like everything that I know. I've never been an ignorant brother. You know what I'm saying? I know about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. It's just I never utilized my knowledge and I never put the good energy out there. And I just want to put the same good energy out there as much as I was putting that bad energy out there.
Good stuff.
Good
Good stuff.
stuff. You are. I was angry. Like I said, when you hear a 7-year-old beautiful little girl, being gunned down, lose her life to gun violence, and you out here, we get caught up in this YouTube bloggers and all of this other stuff, and we I'm the type of person, I had to step away from that, and I said, you know what, it's going to be a time where I have that young man in this studio where he's going to be talking about, and he's going to tell the people the truth. When I started watching your live videos, and had to get to know you from that standpoint, all of that stuff that they were saying, that shit went out the window. It really did. It let me know, like, cases like your babies, let me know how people would basically, they exploit families who have been through these type of things. Mm-hmm. They exploit y'all. Hello? Went off again. Like I was saying, they exploit the families who have been through these type of things. They exploit these families, who go through these type of things and stuff. And, I appreciate the fact that you even, gave me some time. I sent you a text, and I want you to really consider that, what I sent you, because I think that, for real, I did. I sent you a text. I want you to consider that, because I think that you out here telling your testimony, giving your testimony, and walking in your truth is going to wake up a lot of young people. They'll be able to actually see what this thing does. They got it misconstrued when it comes to joining these gangs or even being affiliated, because whether you join it or be affiliated with it, it's all the same thing. You still have the same outcome. Yeah, it's all the same thing. You don't even have to be a part of it. You don't have to be born into this shit. You can be affiliated.
I mean, like when the
Go ahead.
When the police come and get you and ask you how you know them, you part of the conspiracy.
Exactly.
Like, it's all a conspiracy. Like, so if you're running with these guys, like, that means you got knowledge into what's going on. That's all the conspiracy is. You got knowledge. You know what's going on, so you're part of it.
Yeah. Has anyone been arrested, charged or anything with your baby's murder?
Yes. Everybody involved. She actually had a fourth person involved, not involved with the murder, but
how many? What?
Another guy from a whole other state who purchased the weapons actually had wound up getting locked up. So, like, God was just working, like, and he's still working. Like, everybody incarcerated. An extra guy got incarcerated who purchased the guns, and like, it's still a lot of coverage going on. Like, every day somebody's reaching out that want to do an interview or a documentary, or like, we have people that's making statues and, a lot of stuff that's just going on that's positive for her in honor of her name. Like, she also has a memorial at her school. Her name's engraved at the ground of her school and stuff like that. So.
Jontae, you did that because I've been watching you, and I've been watching how you have been so involved. You were making all of this stuff happen. So you need to it. You really are. You're making it happen. When I look at all of the beautiful videos and everything, all of the pictures, I know who played a big part in that baby's life. That's why no motherfucking body can tell me nothing. They can't tell me nothing, because the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. When I seen all them videos and pictures and everything, and I'm not trying to knock her mom or anything, but I saw that fire. I saw that love. I saw that compassion. You love that baby to death. And I saw it. You always had videos of that baby. You always had pictures. That shit means something to, to a person like me. It shows me that you had a lot of involvement in that baby's life. Great father. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just have one quick question, and you asked it before, but I just wasn't clear on it. Was there any truth to weapons being dropped in the streets of Chicago, especially in minority communities? Guns and that kind of thing. I know I wasn't clear on your answer.
Can you repeat yourself one time? Okay.
I said, was it any true? BLAQ had asked you earlier, because we've seen on the internet folks say that all we have to do is drive across the line, drop the guns in the neighborhood, and black folks will start killing themselves. Is there any truth to that, to your knowledge, that guns are being dropped in your communities in Chicago? Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that KKK member already confirmed that.
Yeah, no, I've seen that.
And I'm pretty sure it's not that it's dropped in there with crates, but they're making it available.
Yeah, well, no,
just like he said, the situation.
Because I wasn't clear on it.
Just like he said, the situation, it's just like no gun stores are being broken into.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody is buying guns, so they got to be getting them from somewhere.
But here's the thing. It's 320 million people in the United States. And I'm talking about from adult to kids. There's 7 guns for every person in the United States. Mm-hmm. And I don't have one.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. I got me one. And I went to the store and got it. I have a license to carry because, all of these crazy shit going on. Like, people was just trying to come in your house, all kinds of shit, okay? But I had to do to protect myself and my family, Yeah. What was we? Oh, you asked him.
I was just asking him. I just need to answer to that one question. Is it any?
Go ahead, read.
Oh yeah. Like that's what. Okay, I'm sorry again. But like I was saying, I don't think there's no presented like no real truth to it. But like it's a well spread rumor. It's a real spread rumor, and like I say, it not being no paperwork on guns being stolen from gun stores or the amount of people, like if you have a gun card before go out to purchase them, nobody's purchasing them at the amount that they're on the street. So I believe, me personally, I believe there's some type of truth to it, but there's no real evidence that says that it happened.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. That makes sense. Like I said, they sit up there and they say it, like you were saying that it's no guns being bought. There's no, places being broken into. So it has to be some type of truth to it. How they getting them, I don't know, but somebody gotta be, they gotta be getting them from somewhere, because like I said, when it comes to the gun violence situation up here in the DMV area, we have these illegal guns. I mean, they're not really illegal guns. We have these girlfriends buying guns for these, you can
go to a gun show and buy a gun and don't have to produce nothing.
Don't have to produce nothing to go to the gun show and buy, to buy guns and stuff. And that's probably the issue that's going on. That's a big issue. That's a major issue that's going on. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like, if you think about the time period, like from the 70s, it was never this many amount of guns on the street ever.
No, it
was never this amount of guns on the streets, like from the 70s, 80s to the 90s.
Okay.
Like, it's probably out of crowd of 10, 7 people have guns.
Right.
At least 5 to 7 people. The least 50% of the 10 have guns. With like army artillery type guns from AKs and extended clips and stuff like that. Like, so it's definitely something. Like, you got to think crack was used to destroy communities. Crack was used as a way to destroy communities. So I believe gun violence and like putting guns on the street could be one too.
Yeah. I would agree with you 1,000%, but we got to stop buying into the narratives.
Yeah, we
really got to stop letting other people's perception become our reality.
Yes, indeed. I want to thank you, Jontae, for calling in. I'm going to call you because I sent you a message and I want you to take that in consideration. And I think that we can really reach some people. You know what I'm saying? I don't offer that opportunity to a lot of people, but I want to offer that opportunity to you. So I want you to just think about it. I'm gonna call you a little later. I thank you so much for giving us some time and just really talking with these children on these situations and our adults. I'm getting a lot of great feedback from my live stream and everything. But I thank you so much, and I promise I'm gonna give you a call in a couple of hours if that's okay.
And he's gone again.
Community Love and Black Roses Garden. Who do I have on the line?
I don't hear it. I don't hear anything.
It was a 390 number.
Yeah, that was Malik.
Okay. Have him call back. Or maybe I can call him back. Wait a minute. Let me see. If I can call him back. Obviously, I can't. Hello, Community Love and Black Roses Garden. Who do I have on the line?
You have Malik Phillips.
Hi, Malik.
Phillips, how are you?
Good. How are you?
That's good. We good. We glad to have you. I'm gonna let your grandma take over.
Okay. Can you introduce yourself first? Can you hear me? Okay.
My name is
Go ahead, sweetie.
Malik Phillips, and I am in the 7th grade right now.
Okay. All right. I wanted you to come on, Malik, because a lot of people have been giving me feedback as to what we talked about yesterday, the student code of conduct. And because we have such a wide listening audience, I would like for you to share what you shared in class on yesterday. Well, in homeschool on yesterday, about the student code of conduct, about the bullying in school, about what happens when, one kid is doing the right thing, the other one's doing the wrong thing. So I'm going to let you go for it. So go ahead, please.
So, I did a student code of conduct doing some research, and it says that there are actions that are supposed to be held against people who are attacking another student or bullying and harassing another student.
Right.
But in all of the levels, so they have like response levels for each of these things, and in each of these response levels, they have to do stuff with the teacher, and it not only is waiting for somebody to help you. A bad situation for being the bullied. It's also a bad thing for the teacher because their time is taken away from the students because they have to go and explain the situation in the principal's office. So
You're breaking up a little bit. Little bit. So when the bully and the person that they're bullying gets called to the principal's office, tell folks what happens next, and then if you could explain how defense of yourself on school property as it relates to the student code of conduct. I'd appreciate you answering those two questions for the listening audience. Can you do that?
Yes. What was the question?
Okay. The first question was because you were talking about when a kid is being bullied, not only is the bully called into the office, but the person who's being bullied. And I know that your brother said on yesterday when that happened to him, he was doing the right thing, but they made each kid apologize to each other and they sent them back into the classroom. So if you could give some, do you remember that piece of the conversation yesterday?
Yeah. I need to get email though, because I don't quite know what happens in the principal's office since I've never been sent to the principal's office. Because I've never had a problem with bullying for me myself, but Mel has.
Yeah, I know that, but what I'm saying, when we were talking about it on yesterday, what was the standard operating procedure? Because I know you were listening, because you presented a very good argument as it related to that on yesterday. When folks are called into the principal's office, it's really no resolution. And the argument that you presented online was that when you looked through the student code of conduct, there is nothing in the student code of conduct that says that a student cannot defend him or herself. And that is something that I don't think parents are clear on. That is something that, according to the discussion we had yesterday, it's not discussed, even though you guys are given the student code of conduct book at the beginning of the school year. Nobody discusses that with you. Now, did I have that right? Hello? Maybe it is us, because he's gone. Is it still live? The line's still live?
Yeah, it's still live.
I don't know what happened.
I'm going to close him out and see if he'll call back.
Okay.
Tell him call your phone and put it up under, you can put it up underneath the mic.
Okay.
Where they'll hear it. That was very interesting. You are so welcome, Jontae.
Hello. Hey, are you there now?
Yes, the other phone was glitching out, and I couldn't quite hear you well or understand you.
Okay. Do you want me to call on the Galaxy?
No, you can talk something right there, because I can hear. Can you hear?
Malik? He said it kept glitching out and he didn't want to. Okay. Go ahead and explain what happens when the bully and the victim are called into the office. And also explain the self-defense piece that we were talking about on yesterday as it related to the student code of conduct. So you can go ahead and talk now.
What happens when you go to the... So first what will happen when you go to the principal's office, they will try to call both your parents, and then they will go on to tell you that attacking another student is against the guidelines, which is correct because it's in the student code of conduct, that you should be able to defend yourself, because when it's up to the teachers, you don't know how severe the injuries could be by them for the bullied person. Because if they don't fight back against the person who's bullying against them, who knows how long who knows how long it'll be before a teacher comes in and stops the situation. Who knows how severe the injuries will be, or who knows what's going to happen to the kid before the teachers get here. And it's also a strain for the teachers because they have to stop their class and stop the kids from learning, because they have to go out and stop the fight that's happening in the hallways with one student to another.
Okay. Now, what was the upshot that you found in the student code of conduct? Because if I'm remembering correctly, a student does, according to the student code of conduct, you can attack a student, but you can certainly defend yourself, because there's nothing in there that says that you cannot do that. Do I have that right?
You have that correct.
All right. We've got a lot of moms and dads listening. What would be your advice to them, as a 7th grader at your school? I'm not even going to say what your school's name is. Okay. But what advice could you give to the parent to help assuage that problem?
I don't have an answer for that, but I think that the kids should be disciplined. Like, if you're against them disciplining, there's not only one way to discipline someone to get them to do a better thing. So you don't have to do one type of discipline to get them to do a better thing. You can, like, talk to them or understand how they're feeling. And then once you understand how they're feeling, you can approach the problem how you want to approach it. But I think that the bullies you should talk to your like kids and really understand what's going on at school for them, because if you don't understand what's going on at school, you can't like help with the problem. And there are a lot of parents that go to the school and they find out that their kid is bullying someone else and they're super surprised. So I think that there should be more communication, and I get that if your schedule can't make space for that, but you should at least try to find some space to really talk to your kids and understand how they're feeling. And that way, sometimes they won't have to bully. Sometimes they'll stop bullying because they can understand how severe the problem is if you just talk to them about how severe it can be to someone else's feelings.
Okay, and I like that answer. But let me ask you this. I know that when your big brother was going to elementary school at the school that I worked at, we had a policy that if you were a bully and you were caught more than one time, they would call your parent's job and tell that parent to come get your kid now, because we had kids sign a contract parents sign a contract before the kid was even allowed to come to this particular charter school, to let them know that if X thing happens, if the bullying happens more than once, you have to come get your kid immediately. What do you think that could be a viable solution in Prince George's County?
I do think it could be a viable solution, and it's a very good solution to problems. But there might be some moms or dads who are like single moms or dads, and they might not be able to stretch out their schedule to get to the school. And some most jobs might not be so forgiving to parents who leave their job to come pick up their child, even if it is part of the contract. So even though it is a good solution, I think we got to take into account the parents who don't really have the time or who don't have such forgiving businesses to let them off to pick up their child from school.
Okay, but here's something that I do know was in place. It's a federal law that a lot of people just don't know about. If you have a child in school, you have 24 hours that you can take with or without notice to leave and go tend to your child at the school. That is a federal law. So parents, you have that latitude, and it's backed up by the government. I get what you're saying, Malik, but again, companies that try to prohibit that are in violation of federal law. And again, a lot of folks just don't know, so they don't push to exercise it. Do you have any other solutions or any other suggestions that you can give to parents and kids, as a matter of fact? Because I didn't know some of this stuff until you read it to me yesterday. Are you there? I'm sorry.
I also know that I think that some parents also try to communicate with their kids, but their kids kind of like sometimes kids don't want to like talk to their parents about certain things. So I think that that if your parent is open to communicate with you, that whenever you're feeling something bad, you should probably take that chance to communicate with them, because really, even if you think they might not understand, they might understand the situation you're going through. And that can probably really be helpful towards stopping your bullying and really helping find a solution to all your anger.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that kids should be more open and should be more open to communicate with their parents, and their parents who aren't really open to communicate should find some space to communicate with their kids, so they can really come to an agreement and they can talk. They can talk to each other about their problems and what problems they're having at school.
All right. Well, that's some super good stuff. I do appreciate.
And I think that you need to be an advocate for the children. Okay, I think you need to start a whole new trend and get, how they had the student body president at school and everything. You need to start a movement with these children and be the voice, baby. I'm telling you.
Yes, you're very articulate.
Very.
Know, and you. Because again, I thought that when they passed out the student code of conduct, that the teachers by homeroom would review the information with the students. Because I know that both the students and the parents get that. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. And has, in your experience, because you're in 7th grade now, even though we're homeschooling this year, you spent 6 of those years in public schools. Did that ever happen in your classrooms?
No, they never read or reviewed anything that goes over. They were just giving you the student handbook and telling you to read it when you get home. They never really took the time because a lot of kids probably don't want to read, but they're willing to listen to a book if somebody else reads it to them.
Okay, and that would invoke some discussion, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like we had yesterday. All righty, sir. It's it's coming close to our shutdown time. Is there anything else that you would like to add before you get off the phone?
Yes, I'd like to say that I also think that teachers have too much on their shoulders to handle and balance, their teaching and their students and the students who are terrible in the class. So I think that if there are people willing, that schools should open up spaces for teachers' assistants so that, every few teachers has a teacher's assistant, and sometimes people and some staff should regularly walk down the halls to make sure that no fights can happen, that no one's being bullied, so they can really observe the situation of the school. So that if the teacher really needs to go down to the principal's office to explain the situation, then the teacher's assistant can stand in the class and kind of take over the lesson for a bit. Can take over the lesson for a bit to make sure that the students are still learning, so that the teacher can have a sense of a relief of mind, knowing that their students are still learning, because there are a lot of teachers that want to teach, but the disobeying students can get in the way of teaching a lot of kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
You
are.
Indeed. You
All right.
Point, babe.
Let me ask you this: if you if they were able to implement the suggestion that you have, with the teacher's aides, if the teacher needs to go somewhere and explain the situation with other kids that they're handling, and have somebody cover the classroom, is that then, would you think, because you said the other day you liked homeschool better than school, if the situation was like that, would you like school better?
I just like staying at home. That's why I like homeschool better. But I don't really have any problems with school. I would feel much safer with all the teachers' assistants there, and I would feel like a lot of kids will feel safer going to school and stop skipping school if my suggestion were put in place, so that the kids can have some sense of relief, and that the staff could really observe the situation to find out what's going on with their school and why there's so much bullies. When they pull and when they suspend the students who are bullying, sometimes they also suspend the student who is being bullied, which has happened to my brother, which makes no sense. sense, because if you suspend the bully, then they see that as a vacation because they're like, oh, I get to stay away from school. So I think that in-school suspension should be more of a priority discipline type in school, because it keeps them in school, but they're also like, oh, this it creates a sense of boredom and them not wanting to be in that place again.
Right.
And instead of punishing the whole class as a whole, punish that individual student, because it can be like, oh, they'll get into the mindset instead of, oh, at least the whole class is suffering with me, into I can't do this because look at how much fun the rest of the class is having without me.
Yeah, wow. Well, I truly do appreciate you taking a portion of your Friday afternoon to come and educate us.
And tell him BLAQ appreciates
I enjoyed this.
Yeah, and Black Rose says she so appreciates it as well.
Thank you.
One day when you get your courage up and can be in front of a camera, I would absolutely love for you and or your brothers to come in, because you have really gee, I'm having two separate conversations. But what I was going to say was that suggestion about teachers' aides, because we spend a huge portion of money in Prince George's County on education. And I'm ever so hopeful that not only my school board rep, but your school board rep is tuning into this as well. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to share what we talked about yesterday, because it's more dedicated, with your school board rep over in Bowie. So again, at 12 years old, thank you so much for shedding a light. And tell parents where they can find the student code of conduct online, because a lot of times you said maybe the single parent that may not have had time, just took the paper, put it somewhere, doesn't know where it is. So can you help them with that piece, please? Where can they find?
Search up PGCPS and go to student, and then go to the Student Rights and Responsibilities Handbook. And it's on the website. It has all the sections that would be in the book. And it's all right there online on the site. And that brings me to one more point, just one last point. Mm-hmm. Teachers should stop having, I noticed that teachers pay for their supplies that they supply to the class. So I noticed that some students might not have some pencils, but the teachers are paying for the pencils to give to the students so that they can ensure that the students have something to read and write with. And they have journals, and they have colored crayons that are just resourced to the class, but they're paying for it all by themselves. I think that schools should start resourcing and giving the supplies to the teachers to hand out to their students, because I've heard that they already have a low pay, but having to spend a lot of supplies on a whole class is a lot of money, despite having such a low income. And I think that the schools need to start giving the resources to the teachers that the kids might need, so that the teachers can save more money and keep some more of their money.
All right, good stuff. Well, I'm ever so hopeful that the powers that be heard what you said. We are going to ensure, like I said, I'm going to tag the school board reps Facebook page with this broadcast, as well as what we talked about yesterday in class. And we'll see where it goes from there, because I'm always encouraging parents to be consistent and persistent in terms of their demands. A lot of folks don't think that they have a voice. You do have a voice, even you at 12 years old. And I appreciate so much you sharing that experience. So with that, I'm going to talk to you later. And again, thank you, Malik Phillips, 12 years old,
yes,
for your input and your feedback. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right,
Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Have a nice day, handsome. with your smart self. Thank you so much. We can't wait to have you in here. It's just like being on Facebook Live, Malik. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so we need you in here, okay? It's just like Facebook Live, how you be reading all that good stuff and all this, like you give. We need you in here so you can, the people can be able to look at this 12-year-old genius and learn something.
Yes, indeed, because I learned something, and I consider myself a thinking individual, a reasonably smart human being, but you always teach me, you and your brother, so I thank you so much for that. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Okay, have a nice day, everybody.
Have
bye-bye.
a nice day. He is so smart, but I wouldn't expect nothing different, less coming from the grandmother like you. You know what I'm saying? For real. And we need to really, this is the type of stuff that I look forward to.
Now, when we can get going, I'm going to take all of them to school board meetings because they need to hear from folks who are living this stuff. Just like the woman in your neighborhood needs to go to school board meeting. We need to see that. We need to get it out. It needs to be public information. Because when he started reading that offline to me yesterday, because he read the whole thing, said there's nothing in here that says you can't defend yourself.
Exactly.
But teachers or school systems make you think that there is something wrong with you defending yourself.
Exactly. And they prosecute you and they expel you from school and all kinds of stuff, to stop you. Like, you have to be a part of the change. If you have a 12-year-old baby, that's a baby that has the sense up here. I'm telling you, that has the sense up here to speak up and know right from wrong. Y'all need to do better. For real. Y'all need to do better as adults, as parents, as all of that. These people like this baby right here set the pace for what we actually need in this world to get us, to get past all this crazy shit, how we've been living, this 400 years of oppression that we put on ourselves.
Exactly.
These babies can wake us up. For real. Because this is from the mouth of babies. I had my niece over, my great niece. I'm a great aunt. Okay, and I had my 4-year-old niece. She's 4 years old. Her mom was going through some issues where she had to go to the hospital. Right. And I'm talking to this 4-year-old baby, and I'm like, your mama gonna be all right. You know what that baby said to me? Hey, what? She said to me, I know my mama gonna be all right because I prayed.
Wow.
4 years old.
I love it. I do.
She said, I prayed, you prayed, we prayed. She got to thinking. Girl, that brings tears to my eyes because I know my niece is a great mom. I know her dad, Trey, is a great dad. And when I see that 4-year-old baby and she knows about prayer.
When you see the fruits of your labor. And that's only because of the example she's been around her whole life. You've been one of her examples. And kids are always watching. I cannot impress upon parents enough that children don't do what you say. No. They do what they see.
They do what they see. And so, this is coming from a mouth of a 4-year-old, y'all. This is a 4-year-old baby that know that they're having faith in God. That baby, when she said that to me, I was outdone. I've never heard, this is from a mouth of a baby.
Yeah, prayer works. And again, when you are in an environment where people do that and they reinforce that to you, that's what you get.
So I just want to shout my niece Diamond out and my nephew Trey. I want to shout y'all out for just what y'all are installing in that baby. Because, like I said, we need more parents, and they are young. They're not old parents; they are young parents.
But again, they had examples around them. They had you around them.
Yeah, my mom and everybody. Like, right. I'm so proud of her, and I'm so proud of that baby. You know, like I was outdone. I cried for hours after that baby said that to me, because when you in this world that we're living in right now, that it seems like it's no hope, nobody is getting it. That's what make me come on here and cuss y'all out even more. Okay, because if a 4-year-old baby can
If
get
she
it,
can get it, you can get it.
you can get it. Understand that. It's no excuses, and I'm not going to make none for you. And I'm not going to make none on Community Love at Black Roses Garden.
No,
It's
no.
more excuses. We don't live like that.
Now, again, and if a 12-year-old can get it, if you can go and read, because if you got a telephone, you got the internet, you can pull that stuff up and read it yourself. The school system clearly is not doing it. He told you. He gets that book. He's gotten that book every year. Never has anybody in the school, whether in the classroom or in an assembly, gone over the rules and regulations with the kids. So that's why we have what we have. No parents, or not enough parents, are reading it, so they can't attack or hold us, or have come from a position where they can hold folks accountable to their own words. We have to get better at that. We've got to start paying attention. We got to wake up and pay attention.
And before we get up out of here, I want to shout out Cardi B, okay, because she paid for the funerals of the families who lost their lives to that tragic fire in Brooklyn.
Okay.
She paid for the funerals
of
all of them, and also paid for where some of them had to go back home to their African country. She paid to send them there.
Good stuff.
So I want to shout you out, Queen Cardi B, for just doing, because she always do things, and she don't do it to get recognition. This woman always does things to help others, and she don't get the recognition for it, I guess, because she's a star, out here right on all of that stuff. But she's going to get the recognition on Community Love in Black Roses Garden. Girl, shout out, Queen. Love you. Keep up the great work. Keep making them hits, and keep being a part of the change that you want to see in this world.
Yes, indeed.
Everybody be a part of the change that you want to see in this world. You can complain all you want to. We know that we have been complaining for 400 years, and it has not gotten us anywhere. It's time to start thinking of a new way of thinking. Start doing new things. Start educating your families and your communities on what we need to do. It's so much with us. We're going to have to change this way of thinking towards each other.
But here's another thing too, BLAQ. I didn't mean to cut you off, but when you said that is what school systems used to teach. They used to teach you how to think. Now they're teaching you to regurgitate and remember facts.
Yeah.
No. You have to teach people how to think critically.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to do that is have discussion and discourse. That's the only way.
And as long as we're able to come in this studio and give to y'all the business, give y'all the juice, we're going to do that, because this is so important for us to be able to change this whole thing. I'm ready to change and turn things around. I walk in my truth. I need for y'all to start walking in y'all's. Okay? Start walking in your truth. Understand
and start
that.
acting on your truth.
And start acting on it. I love y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Y'all stay safe. Keep the mask on. You understand what I'm saying? Be the part of the change that you want to see. I'm going to leave you with that.
Amen. See you at the top, because the bottom is overcrowded.
All right. Love y'all.
Girl, easy, well, me not fi try a thing. Planting, you know a fire thing. Down on her knees, well, you know a prayer thing. She sing on the mic and she not fi say a thing. Like hello moto, seductive photo. Say she want it fast and she want it slow too. Her lips them sexy and she love to show to. All pon the road too. Her left bus fall and me